Hello students, good morning all of you. Today I am taking the class of Shastri II. We have discussed many explanation from scene first, scene 2 of act first from the play, The Merchant of Venice. Today we see explanation from act first, scene third. Today's first paragraph is I will buy with you, sell with you, talk with you, walk with you, and so following, but I will not eat with you, drink with you, nor pray with you. These lines are taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These are written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. Shakespeare was certainly one of the most successful writers of his time. These lines have been taken from Act First, Scene Third. These lines are spoken by Shylock when he asks to give some money. The next paragraph. In these above lines, we are introduced to Shylock for the first time as a moneylender to whom Antonio eventually turns in order to help his friend Bassanio court Portia, a beautiful wealthy heiress. Bassanio has invited Shylock to meet Antonio at dinner, an invitation that Shylock declines. Shylock responds to Bassanio's offer to dine with Antonio and Bassanio. Shylock immediately declines, referring to irrecognizable differences between their Christianity and his Judaism. Eating pork represents the ethnic divine, since in the Jewish faith, pigs were considered unclean in an Old Testament. Shylock adds a scorn to his refusal of their hospitality by schooling them in the Christian belief that Jesus commanded demons to enter a herd of pigs. He declares that he will do business with Christians but will not interact with them socially. He further explains that while they cannot eat together, they can still do business together. Such a response speaks to the religious intolerance in Venice at the time. Merchants would work with tradesmen of different faiths, but people would not allow different religions to mix in their personal or social matter. Apparently, all sides agreed to this racial and religious separation, creating division, strife, and anger. Just then, Antonio comes along, and in an aside, Shylock talks of his dislike for him as Antonio lends money without charging interest and thus competes with the professional ushers of Venice. In short, we can say that these lines teach us that we should have feeling of brotherhood. Again, we should be helpful and cooperative towards others. Again, we take the next paragraph for today. If I can catch him once upon the hip, I will feed fat the ancient brood I reared him. He hates our sacred nation, and he rails even there where merchants most do congregate on me my bargains and my well-owned thrift, which he calls interest. Again, these lines have been taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These lines have been written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. He was certainly one of the most successful writers of his time. These lines have been taken from Act 1, Scene 3 of The Merchant of Venice. Antonio is worried about his ships that are yet at sea because he has made so many invests that he is rather extended, and if his ships do not arrive with their cargoes to be sold, he will be in financial straits. His friend Bassanio owes his money but needs more. Generously, Antonio agrees to procure 3,000 ducats, but he must go to the loathed Jewish merchant Shylock and ask him because Shylock is greedy enough to loan him the money. Next paragraph. In these above lines, Bassanio and Antonio approach Shylock for the loan. When Bassanio approaches Shylock with his and Antonio's proposition for a loan, Shylock is wary because he knows that Antonio has said about him to other merchants. Shylock describes the reason he hates Antonio, ending with this description of revenge. His use of feed fat is an example of the base animal language that categorized Shylock as gruesome and monstrous. This aside set up Shylock's main motivation for the play, which is revenge on Antonio as a symbol for revenge on a society that has wronged him and his ancestors. Bearing hatred for Antonio mainly because he does not charge interest on loans and thus brings down the rate of interest that Shylock himself can charge. Shylock is at first reluctant to deal with Antonio. On the other hand, he would love to avenge himself upon Antonio for his lending methods and for his anti-Semitic remarks. Shylock intends to renew an old and long-standing grudge that he has against Antonio as a rival merchant and as a hated Christian. So, while at first Shiloh wants nothing to do with Antonio, he agrees to loan him money because he is aware of Antonio's financial situation and believes that Antonio may not be able to repay him, and he can then wreak his revenge by legally killing Antonio, who agrees to pay with a pound of his flesh. In short, we can say that in the scene, Shakespeare implies two of the greatest elements that foster hatred, religion and